Hello, America. I am so disappointed with how the way inflation has been going. They have been going to the point where now they're trying to crash the economy in a certain way of basically trying to, excuse me, basically trying to raise interest, but not raising it high enough to keep up with inflation. Everybody's saying that we're going into a recession. I believe we are actually there, which they're not speaking on of. The monies that could be used to give out to low income people, it is hurting people so badly. At any given point, that gas is $5 a gallon. It tells me right here, you know, what really happened. I'm going to explain to you what happened. Back all the way. When the coronavirus came out, gas on average was like, I'd say $1.50 to $1.89, depending on where you were in the country. And however the gas stations decided for pricing. So, to make a long story short, what ended up happening is that when everything was shut down, nobody was going nowhere, nobody was doing much of anything. Places was going, a little bit of places in the country were going bankrupt, especially small businesses. Turn around when the PPP loan, stimulus checks came out, all that, they used those stimulus checks to say that inflation was caused by them stimulus checks. No, that is not how inflation actually happened. I'm going to tell you the truth of how inflation really happened. When the federal government dropped the rate down to zero and everything was opening back up, they turned around while they was going stage by stage to open everything up. Things was rising. See, when they called and said on national TV, we're going to open our state up stage by stage to see, how everything balances out. So, as that happened, everything was going fine. Gas was about, I'd say at the most, $2.20 a gallon. Then when Biden decided to shut down the Keystone Pipeline, the XL version of the Keystone Pipeline, that's when gas started going up and up and up and up. And since then, it has been going nothing but up. It may drop 10 to 20 cents down, and then they mark it back up 30 to 40 cents more. The point of it is that there have been a lot of politicians in office that have refused to acknowledge the harms that they have caused on many lives in America. Anywhere from prescription to food to gasoline to utilities, it's at an all-rank high. And even though they're reporting saying 8.6%, that's not the real average of inflation percentage. I would put the inflation percentage rate at around 17.73%. The reason why I would say that is because at any given moment that You work a job on average $15 an hour nationally, and gas is on national average $5 a gallon before taxes. You know right then and there, you're paying each dollar that you work, each $15 an hour that you work before taxes, you're paying $5 a gallon just to get to and back from work. And that might be about, every 4 days to, I would say 2 weeks. I've heard people say that they've gone off of a gallon, off of a normal amount to refill. People are spending $70, $80, $90, $100, $110 just in regular gas. Diesel, they're spending about $1,000 or more. It's ridiculous. When they wanted to change from oil over to hybrid, or as I should say, battery operated, at this time, it's not the best time to do so. Because, one, you do that, and you're going to collapse the economy. We're just recovering. We're just opening up. You don't do this at a time that we're just opening up. When you have an agenda, you put your agenda to the side and you work on the realistic issues that are actually happening every day. Anything from gun reform up to people being able to actually eat and stuff, and be able to pay their bills so that they can cook on their stove and stuff. What are we supposed to do? Stand out on the side of the road and have a grill with wood and supposed to cook on that for the rest of our lives? No. No. We deserve some dignity. We deserve some dignity. We deserve some respect. And we deserve every ounce of trust in our government. And at this point, our government has been dishonest, distrusting, and disloyal to the American people. No matter who you vote for, no matter who you represent, no matter whatsoever, they have been dishonest. The only one, and I mean the only one that was admitting to fault, is Secretary Janet Yellen, which I'll give her credit. At least she had the audacity as a real woman to come out and say that she was wrong about inflation, that she thought it was just transitory and not permanent. Well, come to find out, it's more of a permanent issue. I knew this was going to be more of a permanent issue. I already knew that this was going to happen. I've been saying time after time that there's a possibility that we're going for Great Depression Part 2. If you've been paying attention to how the unemployment rate hasn't really moved in months, that tells you right there we're already in a recession. They're just waiting to call it out so that they could go on ahead and lay hundreds of millions of people off so that they could basically reform their company so that they can be able to save on money and everything else. Like, you're going to see a lot of truckers laid off. You're going to see a lot of people on the railroad laid off. You're going to see a lot of people out here trying to make ends meet. It's going to be ridiculous. I fault Congress for not enacting on many ways than one. For them to sit there and to say that there's nothing that they can do. Oh, sure there is. Sure there is. You see, here's the thing. They don't actually have to draw up paper money for to actually put funds into people's pocket. You know what you do? You use the accounts that are already on file and you file the stuff electronically. And if they don't have a bank account, they can easily just sign up online and get a debit card sent to them. Although you would not be able to withdraw the funds would still be in your account. You still would be able to go out and buy what you need to buy. They could do this monthly. It wouldn't cause inflation. It wouldn't cause any problems. And furthermore, it wouldn't be fiat money. It would be considered as commodity money. Like cryptocurrency they talk about, which I don't really like. Commodity, they're a commodity. The same thing could go for when they deposit the money into your accounts and stuff, or they put it on a certain card that you cannot withdraw for actual physical fiat cash money, but it's still tangible and you're able to still spend it, but off of your card. I don't get it. I don't understand why the federal government hasn't been trying to be re-innovative about how they do things. They could do that. They wouldn't even have to touch the deficit. They wouldn't have to touch anything. It wouldn't even raise inflation up. It wouldn't even touch anything. That's all they would have to do. If they had an ounce of sense, they could figure this out and be like, wait a minute, he's right. He is exactly right. We wouldn't even have to raise the taxes. Thank you. You wouldn't have to raise taxes. You wouldn't have to take extra taxes. And more money would be actually put into place without raising taxes. And inflation actually wouldn't go up. In fact, inflation would go down. It's been proven with commodity monies in the past. I don't know. Our federal government, I feel like that they claim they're so intelligent, but words speak so far from actions. They really do. And it's a damn shame that we got to sit here every day and wonder if we're going to be able to either take our medicine, if we're going to be able to eat, or if we're going to be able to wash our hindquarters. Like the old saying, the Indians used to say, give a man a bunch of money, but if it ain't enough fish, he can't buy it all. So my point of it is that you can't expect a country to thrive. It's like, how can I explain it to you exactly what it's like? It's like starting an engine with no motor oil, and what happens? When you drive it down the road, what's going to happen? It's going to start knocking, it's going to start smoking, and then eventually it's going to lock up. That's exactly how the economy is going. It's going to start knocking, which is already doing that right now. And about 2 more weeks, it's going to start smoking. Then after that, what's going to happen? It's going to clunk out. And you ain't going to be able to restart it for a long time. So if they are really smart and they were wise, they would think about this, and they would think about this very long, and they would think about, he might be right. If we do put the money on, like some specific card, even though you may not be able to withdraw it in tangible cash, but you can still do what you need to do to pay for gas, food, and all the other necessary stuff that you do every day, then 9 times out of 10, we could get somewhere. Now, I understand that not everybody deals with that type of transaction. I fully understand that. I fully understand that. But what I'm saying is that on a vast level across America, I can't speak for every rural area that accepts that particular type of transaction. But what I can say is that at least one for sure thing, it would actually, while I'm going to describe this to you. Another issue that would tame inflation is to put the funds in recirculation. If you were to recirculate the funds, inflation would drop. So that would mean if you would stop printing money and use the money as commodities, where you can actually say, pass a bill that says, okay, we're going to fund XYZ. Well, the Federal Reserve wouldn't actually have to print any actual physical money. They could actually just electronically transfer the funds, which they have done with certain transactions before, over to the Treasury, to the U.S. Treasury. And the U.S. Treasurer could send it out to the IRS and tell the IRS there will be no paper checks. It will either be distributed in their bank accounts and or a certain specific card. I guess that EIP card or EPI or whatever you call it, that whatever card that came in the mail, that black card that the federal government was sending during when the pandemic was going on and stuff. I 100% promise you that if that were to happen, 9 times out of 10, that inflation would go down. It would help a lot of people. People would be able to afford more. And you don't even have to count it against their income, because it would be considered as a negative tax bracket. A negative tax bracket. You know what that means? It's not counted as actual creditable income. Congress, if you're so smart, listen to what I say. Put some salvation in your heart. Put some common sense back in your mind. And maybe then America will thrive once again. I yield back